Hello everyone and welcome to the first video in this experimental series which is called Learn How to Read Chinese or Mandarin Chinese by reading, and in this case reading Japanese manga translated into Chinese. I do not know how many videos I will make. I will try to make about 4 or 5 in the beginning just to see how, what the response is and if you like it. And if you find them useful, I will make more, hopefully, because you know that I'm not very consistent in this. But the reason why I wanted to do these videos, and I really, really wanted to do them for a very long time, is that I think reading and analyzing written text is an incredible tool to learn any language or any language that I have been learning so far. And the reason for that is that what is written on a piece of paper or on your screen is basically language frozen in time, because when you listen to something or when you talk to people, words flow really quickly and they're gone. And so okay, if you are listening to something that is recorded, you can pause and rewind, but still there is a difference between seeing a text frozen in time laid out on a piece of paper as opposed to having it recorded. Now with Chinese and Mandarin Chinese specifically, because we're talking about Mandarin now, this is slightly more difficult because, of course, we have Chinese characters that make reading difficult, but also written Chinese and spoken Mandarin. And the terminology here is very important. So, spoken Mandarin Chinese and written Chinese are two almost different languages. So, what is written is different from what is spoken in Mandarin. And it's different to a point where it's really almost two different languages or two quite like dialects of one language. So what I want to say is that if you want to learn how to speak Mandarin by reading, it's probably not the best idea because no one speaks the way books are written unless it's direct speech. Because direct speech, even if written in Chinese, it's still going to be the exact same thing or very close to what people actually speak. So the spoken Mandarin. And this is where manga comes into play because manga is usually composed of direct speech, of people talking to each other, and therefore what you see here, what you see written here, is direct speech, so spoken Mandarin, so the thing that you want to learn to speak. I chose Death Note for this series. I could have chosen anything else, but Death Note is something that, first of all, I like. Second of all, I think it's a manga with a lot of dialogues and a lot of written sort of lot of characters in it, because a lot of manga are just um, they're more about action and less about talking. But in Death Note, there's really a lot of there are really a lot of words, so there's a lot of stuff to analyze, and it's quite difficult to read too. So it's a very good intermediate step between not like reading the very basic dialogues in your textbook to reading actual books in Chinese, because it's right there in the middle. Actual books are much more difficult to read than Death Note, of course, but this is a very good intermediate step. Now, the way I want to go about these videos is I would just basically read and analyze and translate what I see on the screen, and you can just read and analyze along, and hopefully you will learn something. All right, so this had to be a lengthy introduction because this is the first video. The videos that will follow, of course, will not have this introduction. I will just go straight in it. So yeah, let's go. First page, and by the way, I hope I don't get blocked because of this, because I'm not sure how copyright works in this case. I just took pictures with my phone of the actual comic book that I have at home, and I kind of cropped it, and now you can see it on my screen. So hopefully this doesn't infringe anyone's rights. I hope. I'm just doing this for educational purposes. No harm is intended. I'm not reselling. I'm not trying to make money off selling this manga. Just trying to be educational. All right, so here we go. By the way, one quick note: Japanese and Chinese books usually are written from right or read from right to left and from top to bottom. So that's just the first note. And the second note is that this is written in traditional Chinese characters, but I will provide the simplified version in the description for this video, so you can follow along or you can review there. The logic is what is important. I understand that this is probably going to be a little bit overwhelming, since you will be looking at traditional Chinese characters, and then you will be probably reviewing the simplified ones, but try to concentrate on the structure, the etymology, and the whole logic of what is going on. Yeah, so here we go. 死神界. It means the world of the gods of death. 死 is death, 神 is God, and 界 is just world. So 死神 is a god of death, and 界 is the world of gods of death. There's not really too much to talk about this, just the fact that 死神 is almost like giving a quality to the 界, so it's to the world. So 界 is world, and what kind of a world is it? It's a 死神界, so it's a god of death's world, or world of god of deaths.每天都在做相同的事情，真无聊。每天, so let me just translate the whole thing first. To do the same thing every day over and over is really boring. 每天 every day. 都在做. 做 is the verb here, which means to do. 在做. 在 is something like the English ing suffix. So present continuous, I think is called in English. Not sure. Basically, it's turning it into a continuous verb. So 做 means to do, and 在做 to be doing. And 都在做, do is a difficult particle to explain. It just means, in this case, always. So 都在做, like to always do. 相同 means similar or the same. And if I should explain the characters individually, 相 means like, I think the original meaning was like to look from like to look eye to eye with someone. It's like mutual or something like that. And tong is, again, a difficult character to explain when it's just a standalone character. Tong can mean together with, but tong also means like the same. So 相同 together just means the same or similar or very similar. 的 is again, if you're a complete beginner, you probably will have a little bit of trouble grasping this. If you're at least upper beginner, you know what this means. It's the something like the English apostrophe S particle. And how I perceive this, of course, it could be like a possessive particle. Like, for instance, I don't know, Peter's table or dad's car. So this apostrophe S would be this the. And what it's basically doing is it's telling you that if we say it's Peter's car, it's just Peter's car. But if you analyze what's going on, is the car has an attribute or a feature, and that feature is that it belongs to Peter. And so basically, why I'm saying this is that the apostrophe S thing, how this the is usually explained, does not work everywhere. And if you look at it as this attributive thing, and you will see it just right here, it will probably work better. So in most cases, this the is apostrophe S, or in a lot of cases, but it's better to look at it as this attributive, sort of giving an attribute or combining two things based on attributes, type of a particle. And let me just go on through the sentence so it makes more sense. And 事情 is just a thing, like what thing are we going to do today? This kind of a thing. And so 相同的事情 means similar things, and this is where the same things. This is where the attributive sort of thing comes in. Like 事情, a matter. What kind of a matter it is it? It's a 相同的事情. So it's the same matter, same thing, or very similar thing. 每天都在做相同的事情. Every day, always, be doing similar, the things, matters, or matters that are similar. 真无聊. 真 means really, and 无聊 means boring. Literally, and I might be wrong here, 无 it means without or does not have, and 聊 is to chat. So nothing to chat about means boring. I mean, this is how I interpret the etymology of this word. So again, 每天都在做相同的事情，真无聊. Every day doing, to be doing similar or the same things is really boring. 真无聊. Notice there is no verb which would tell you is really boring. 真无聊 just means really boring. There is no verb. We continue. 这个世界已经烂透了. 这个世界已经烂透了. 这个 means this. 这 means this, actually, and 个 is, if you are at least an upper beginner, you probably know and understand the concept of this. 个 is what is the exact name in English? I think a measure word. That's it, a measure word. We have measure words in English. For instance, a piece of paper, a loaf of bread, a bouquet of flowers. So if you say, give me 2 flowers and give me 2 bouquets of flowers, it's a different thing. But they're not universal. Like, we don't have to use them everywhere in English. In Chinese, however, you have to use a measure word every time you have I think it's called a demonstrative pronoun. So this, that, and so on, or a number, and probably a couple of other things that I can't tell you right off the top of my head right now. But in this case, we have to use it. So 这个, and 个, by the way, is the universal measure word, which you can use anywhere. There are different types of measure words, just like in English: a loaf, a piece, a sheet of paper, right? So 个 is a universal one. You can use it anywhere. Now, you sound really uneducated if you use it in places where other measure words should be used, but as a beginner, you can do it. So 这个, it just means this, but if you really want to be precise, I would say this piece. Yeah, like we can say piece or this. Yeah, any measure word you like that is very universal in English. Just substitute it with this 个. So this piece, let's say, 世界 world. 界 we already had here, and 世界 is just a full form of the word world. 世 means generation. I think originally it used to mean 30 years, because in ancient China, 30 years was a generation. And 界 is, I think the original meaning of 界 was a boundary, like a frontier. So 世界 just together today means world. 已经 means already. 烂透了. 烂 means to rot, and 透 means thoroughly. So it's thoroughly rotten. No, actually, thoroughly rot, and this 了 makes it thoroughly rotten. 了 is a very difficult particle to grasp for beginners and intermediate students in Mandarin Chinese. A lot of people say that this is the past tense, but I would just say you can understand it as past tense in a lot of cases, but not everywhere. And 了 is just 我做了. It's like turning off the verb, you know? So 烂透, it means it's going, and then 烂透了 is just it was going, then going, rotting. So it was rotting, and this 了 just turns it off, kind of. So 烂透了 off. So it's not rotting anymore. So it's and for us in English and in languages where we have past tense, would you say it rotted? You know, it's like it's rotten. So 这个世界已经烂透了. This world already has rotten thoroughly. It just means that it's terrible. And this thing over here, 人间界. Again, we have so this is basically the opposite to this one. 死生界, the world of the gods of death, and 人间界, the world of people. 人 is person, 间 is like space. So 人间 is the basically the place where people live, place of people. And 界 is just the world. So, but in I would say is the world of people. And then this little part over here, it just means 无聊, which means boring. Same thing over here. So there you have it for the first video. Let me know. Like, give me any comments, any feedback. Hope the audio is good. Hope the scan is good. Hope I don't get banned for scanning the Death Note. Let me know if it was too long, too short, too fast, too quick. What else you would like to hear? What less you would like to hear of, and so on. And I will probably pre-record about 4 or 5 videos now, and then slowly release them. So any feedback that you have, I will incorporate in the videos later. That's another thing that I wanted to mention. In either case, hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye bye.